When you are really craving attracting the clients you are meant to serve and growing and building a thriving coaching practice, and notice that you are implementing different strategies, you have invested in different programs, you've worked with different coaches, and it's not going in the way that you had hoped, and it's a little bit more challenging than you ever realized. I want to share with you 3 foundational pieces that when they're missing from your business will repel sales instead of attracting the clients that you desire, and what you can do to turn that around. So in the beginning of my business, one of the core pieces that I was missing, that I find many of my clients come to me missing, is having a really clear picture of who you are as a coach. You know, when I was beginning my practice, I was working as a university professor, I was tutoring, I was sometimes waiting tables. And so there was this conflict in my identity about, am I a professor or am I a tutor? Am I a coach? And so because my coaching practice was taking a little bit longer to get started, I often hid the fact that I was a coach and often felt kind of embarrassed and ashamed that it was taking so long. So I didn't fully step into my identity as a coach and didn't acknowledge that it was a honorable profession that I could be proud of. And so when you're hiding that part of you or dismissing or discounting a part of your identity, of course, it's going to be much more difficult to attract clients. And many of my clients come to me, you know, still maybe inside jobs. And so they have that same sort of internal identity conflict, which once we resolve and you can step into and own the fact that you are an amazing coach and this is the work you're meant to be doing, then you show up completely differently in your marketing. Because when you are showing up and there is this distrust and maybe some insecurity about who you are, no matter how amazing your marketing is, the subconscious message is that you don't trust yourself. And so, of course, your clients are going to trust you. So if you are attracting clients, you're going to get clients that are really difficult to work with. The other part of the who that is a real sticking point is if you are not clear on who it is you are meant to serve. And this can be really challenging because a lot of coaches teach client avatars, dream clients, ideal clients. None of that works. I did so many, I can't tell you how many client avatars and client questionnaires and ideal client worksheets, and none of it worked. What happens is you end up thinking this is who you're meant to serve. And what happened with me was then I was getting clients who were kind of all over the place and wanted different things and were starting in different places because I wasn't clear who I was meant to serve. And when you understand that who you are meant to serve is an earlier version of you, everything changes because you are intimately knowledgeable about what that person thinks and feels, what they're struggling with, why they are struggling with that, what they think the solution is, and why that's not the solution, and why you are the solution and your specific trajectory and process and guidance is the solution that they are seeking. And so then, of course, when you speak in your marketing, you are speaking to one person, and that person is going to reach out to connect with you because they resonate exactly with what you're saying because it's such a deep, intimate level of understanding and being seen and heard that they've never experienced before. The second foundational piece is the how piece. This is another part that was a real struggle for me, and I found with a lot of the programs and coaches I worked with that this part was desperately missing. That many coaches just think you know your process, and they don't that really help you dig deeper into where did your process come from? How did you develop it? Why is it unique and why is it different? And a lot of times you don't always know the answer to that, or you might be using a process that you learned from someone else, which leaves you feeling a little bit like a fraud or a little bit like an imposter and not really being effective in your client delivery process because it's not 100% you. And so how I guide my clients and how I learned the guidance that I received and support I received was, going really deep and looking at this pattern that you're experiencing, this challenge, and uncovering, how that specific pattern is rooted in a specific experience and upbringing. And that specific experience led to the development of your gifts, set you on a very specific path, and equipped you with very specific extrasensory perception, and is it is that which allows you to pick up on things in your clients and guide them in ways that they can have a shift like that. And that is what makes your process so powerful and what makes it incomparable. Because once you know what comes from you and your specific path and your unique perception and abilities and gifts and traits, then you know it. No one else can do it like you. And when you know it's for one specific person, of course, you know you're the only person that can do this for that person. And because I'm saying one specific person, it doesn't mean, of course, you only have one client. It means you are so specific in who you're talking to. And maybe you've heard this before, the more specific you are, the actual more universal it is. Because the more precise you are, the more people will pick up on pieces of your story that you're speaking to that they resonate with. So the third part of the foundation that's often missing is the why. So why are you doing this? It's not just to make money. It's not just because you like coaching. There has to be a deeper calling within you to keep showing up, even when you're facing rejection, even when things aren't going the way that you would hope. And these first two components really help with this why. Because when you know who you are as a coach, when you know who you are meant to serve, which is an earlier version of you, and you know how you serve them in a way that no one else can, then that why becomes really powerful. Because what you also see here is that where you were a few years ago was not fun. For me, it was really painful. I was investing, I was in debt, I was depressed, I was discouraged. I started to wonder if something was wrong with me, like maybe I was cursed and maybe I wasn't meant to do this. And that is really, when you connect with that feeling of how many people who deeply desire to be in a specific profession and use their gifts in a unique way and don't do it and end up, maybe giving up and going working for someone else. I mean, that just breaks my heart because this is your calling, this is your mission. And when you dismiss it or decide that it's too hard or you can't do it because of all the things that are getting in the way, then that's one less person that is really doing the work that only they can do and ends up, maybe in a job that kind of just is going through the motions. And so it not only is just them going through the motions in their job, it's also impacting their health, it's impacting their family, it's impacting who they are as a partner and a parent and a friend. I mean, this is big. And this is part of, what fuels me is that I know how painful my experience was. And I am committed to helping that earlier version of me be able to skip or at least fast forward that process so that they can avoid much of the pain that I went through and progress much more quickly than I did. And that is so important to me because I don't want anyone to have to go through that. And the more people that are doing the work that they're meant to do and doing it in a way that is unique to them and brings them energy and joy and financial reward, that impacts their family, that impacts their community, that impacts, how we are in relationship with people. So there tends to be less division, less competition, because no one else can do what you do and no one else can do it in the way that you do it and for who you're meant to do it with and for. So when you have these pieces, the who, the how, and the why, and they're going to continue to evolve because your why is much more deeper and you can go many, many levels. Your how is going to continue to evolve. And you as a coach, of course, will continue to evolve. And who you're meant to serve, of course, will continue to evolve. And so my mission is guiding my clients to really design their business, design their transformational process, their programs, their offer, and their message from those foundational pieces so that they are designing their business to support who they're meant to be and the life that they truly desire to live and to be a life in a business by their design instead of using someone else's system or formula. So if you are in that place where you are tired of chasing strategy and you're tired of posting everywhere and feeling like it's just crickets and tired of doing client avatars and really want to be magnetic to the clients that you are meant to serve and only you are meant to serve in the way that you're meant to serve them, and want to continue to evolve as a coach and evolve your business and your programs and your practice, I encourage you to book a call with me and we'll have a conversation to see what it looks like to work together. I have a 60-day one-on-one mentorship that we can discuss. And if it's the right fit for you, we can get started right away. So you can get out of the cycle and start serving.